Welcome to another episode of the Game of Inches Sports News. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at several different NBA news articles that have come out over the last 24 hours. With that being said, we'll start with this first one. It's taking a look at the Chicago Bulls crushing overtime loss to the Atlanta Hawks. So with that being said, DeMarcus, what do you think?
I mean, for the Bulls, it's disappointing. And, of course, being from Chicago is also disappointing because the Bulls, to me, has a good team with DeRozan as well as Zach LaVine, even Vucevic. And I feel like it's a wasted effort what they had with DeRozan. The man had 13 rebounds, 8 assists, and 34 points. And he's like that. For me, he's their best player on their team, as well as to come in overtime. However, I still feel like as of right now, they don't need to panic as much because they're only 11th in the East, and they could very easily move up to that 8 or 7 spot if they could just get things together and actually win games. However, I do see them trading some pieces, maybe even DeRozan, because I feel like he's that most valuable trade piece. Either trade him or trade Zach LaVine, and I can see those happening before the end of the season or even before the trade deadline.
All right, I would definitely agree that the Chicago Bulls have a lot of expiring assets on their team. DeMar DeRozan is, I believe, 33. Nikola Vucevic is 31. So they're getting up there and running out of their prime years. So I believe they have a lot of good trade assets to use going into trade deadline. And I think that it will be exciting to keep an eye on the Bulls, as they might be able to pick up some pretty good pieces to complete their team around LaVine and some of their good young guards. So that's interesting to watch. Another thing that I wanted to take away from this really quick is AJ Griffin is a rookie that a lot of people were sleeping on in the draft. He was a really good player for Duke, and he is showing that he can compete at an NBA level when he gets the chance. So shout out to AJ Griffin. He's playing really well. And the Hawks need a wing player, so he's looking like he might be able to fill that position without the Hawks needing to trade. So what do you think about AJ Griffin, DeMarcus?
No, yeah, I feel like he came out pretty clutch in that game, as well as right now he's averaging 10 a game. And they will need a player like him to step up with the injuries that they have. And he's only 19. My God, the Hawks are really young, man. What I think about young players is that they only have potential to grow. And if they continue to play like this and hit big shots like he did, it builds that confidence. Get them in the gym more often to work on their game. And, man, the Hawks may be scary. Because I like the Hawks as a team, but, they still need to develop more. And when they do develop, they could be a team to look out for in the East once again, back when those Dominique Hawkins days. And just to touch on the Bulls again real quick, Nikola Vucevic, he'll be a really good trade piece just because he's averaging a double-double right now. So any team could use those 16 points and 10 rebounds a game that he's offering to the Bulls. I feel like the Bulls need to go ahead and try to find a trade for him and get something good back.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk about the Bulls trading both DeMar DeRozan and Vucevic for Russell Westbrook and some picks. And my argument was that I think the Bulls could actually do better than that. And I think if you package DeRozan and Vucevic individually, you could actually get some pretty good players in return. And like you're saying, a lot of the teams could use Vucevic. I think he would fit well in a system like Golden State or one of those offensive-minded teams that doesn't really have a strong big man available. Even a Dallas Mavericks, he would provide a lot of value. Take a lot of the pressure off Doncic so that he's not required to put up 50 points a night to win. So yeah, I definitely think there will be some takers on Vucevic. He's not washed up completely yet.
Yeah, he can still offer some solid minutes. And also with the Hawks, because I think last week when we were talking about them with their injuries, I said against the Bulls that that's a game that they'll be able to win. And so it's no surprise that they did get the dub. However, they did almost lose it in overtime. So for the Hawks, they just got to keep this effort up and keep going so that they can continue winning games and stay in that playoff spot.
All right, and that's our time for this one. So we're going to move on to the next article. And we are going to be looking at the Warriors, and they make a statement in their win against the Celtics. And Wiseman also shines in the G League for the Warriors. So, with that being said, DeMarcus, what do you think?
First thing first, the Wiseman thing kind of caught me off guard because the last time we spoke about him, he was being called up from the G League. Now he's being sent back down. It's pretty disappointing, but like the Warriors, they should just keep him in the G League for the remainder of the year, just so he can develop there instead of like steady bringing him up and down, disrupting his flow, like the rhythm he's building. But I like the win by the Warriors over the Boston Celtics just because they have been struggling lately, the Warriors as a team, as well as Clay. And he also had a big game that night. I got to pull up my stats. Sorry, folks. Came in unprepared this morning.
You got 15 seconds.
I believe he had like 30 points that game. And he also played some very good defense. So it's a big win for the Warriors moving forward.
All right, while you're pulling up the stats, we're going to start my time. So, all right, as a Nuggets fan, I know a lot about having talent on your bench that is not being used effectively. As Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt, two examples of players that were immediately traded and immediately started performing well on a different team. Like Beasley, when he got traded to Minnesota, was putting up like 25 to 30 points a game when he was getting the opportunity. Vanderbilt is now one of the best defensive four positions in the game, so they never got an opportunity on the Nuggets. Bol would be another situation. He's playing well in Orlando. I think James Wiseman is in this situation with the Warriors. He just doesn't fit with the organization quite as well. Playing alongside Curry and Clay and all them. He really needs the ball in his hands to be able to score and make a difference in the game. So I think he might be a valuable trade asset to lure someone that fits into the Warrior system a little bit better. So that is my time. DeMarcus, were you able to get those stats pulled up?
Yeah, I have. First, I want to go to Jason Tatum because I see last night he only had 18 points. And it's kind of what we seen. Well, what I seen last year in the finals is like I won't compare him to Devin Booker as far as like him like not showing up in big moments because sometimes he do. However, last night he only put up 18 points, only 28% from the field. And playing against a team like Golden State, you can't be shooting that poorly.
You said Tatum?
And yeah, Jason Tatum, 28% from the field.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's crazy. 22% from the 3 line. He was 2 for 9. And like his last 5 games, he's put up like against Miami, which is another team in the East that's going to be a problem if they meet up in the playoffs. He only put up 14 points against Miami. But then after that, he put up 29, 31, 25, and then against the Warriors, 18 on that 28% shooting. And like with Jason Tatum, that's why I believe, like, even though I think last month he was Conference Player of the Month, that's why I say he may not win MVP, just because sometimes in big moments when they really do need him, he don't show up also. But yeah, Clay had 34, Steph had 32. And like when those boys is cooking, you might as well go get to a plate and come back for seconds because they're going to be serving you up all night.
Yeah, and this really is a game where the Al Horford injury shouldn't have affected him quite as much, so there's not quite as much of an excuse. Warriors play that small ball, so it's not like if you're missing your big man, you don't have a way to slow down like a Nikola Jokic or Joel Embiid. The Warriors don't have a big man that you can punish a team that doesn't have a big man to defend. So the Celtics really didn't have any excuse for their poor performance. So shout out to the Warriors. Looks like they're getting some chemistry going. And with that, that is our time for this article, so we will move on to the next one. Oh.
One more thing, Kevin.
All right, one last comment.
Something I also do be realizing, my favorite player on the Boston Celtics team is Jaylen Brown, and I feel like a lot of people don't give him the credit he deserves. He dropped 31 points last night. That's all I'm going to say.
Hey, I picked him up on my fantasy team. I like him.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, shout out Jaylen Brown, because that boy be balling.
Yeah, he's good. So...
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, in this article, we're going to be taking a look at the New Orleans Pelicans and the Phoenix Suns as they just played for the second time in the last week or two.
2 days, bro.
Yeah, it definitely. I didn't want to say a couple days and have it be 2 weeks, so I figure
Oh no, it was
2 weeks
Friday
is
and
a safe
then I
bet.
think Sunday.
My risk to reward is
Oh no.
good in that
Yeah.
one.
Sorry for cutting you off.
No, you're good. So basically, you have the number 1 and number 2 in the West going head to head. And in both of these circumstances, the Pelicans ended up pulling out a win against the Phoenix Suns. So, with that being said, DeMarcus, what do you think?
I think it's fantastic. And also, like you said, the number 1 and number 2, those 2 wins actually dropped the Suns to the 4th seed now. So the Pelicans is actually number 1 at 18-8. And the Pelicans is a good team. I mean, they have a great team with C.J. McCollum, Brandon Ingram, and now they have Zion Williamson. He's back and healthy. And when he's on the court, man, it's hard to beat that team because he's as physical and he's fast and athletic and agile. When you got a guy like that, it reminds me of that old school ball, when you got them guys down low, just banging bodies. And he's not afraid to go up against anybody, come down, snagging rebounds out of people's hands. And the Suns, they just come match up with him. And it's kind of disappointing with the Suns how a couple seasons ago you was in the NBA Finals hoping to get back, and now you guys are looking like a mediocre team at this point. And I feel like they really just need to get something going before they find themselves out of the playoffs, or they're going to be a first-round exit.
All right, so basically, I think this says a lot about the Phoenix Suns more so and their chemistry problems. The New Orleans Pelicans weren't even at full strength. They were missing Brandon Ingram, and they had a couple other day-to-day minor injuries. So they beat the Suns twice without Brandon Ingram. So I don't think this was both teams playing at full potential. The Suns are going through a major crisis with identity issues. So when they did make it to the finals, they really rode on the back of their defense. And it seems like with all the injuries and everything, they haven't really been able to form that team defense identity that they have had over the last couple years. So I would definitely be interested to see how they're able to mesh as a team now that they have Chris Paul back. So that's just something I wanted to note. The Suns... Yeah, my bad.
Oh, no, you go ahead. I was going to say it sounds like excuses you're making, man.
No, I'm saying the Pelicans, you don't have your full team, and the Suns, they are just now playing their first games as a full team. We're 25, almost 30 games into the season, and the Suns are now just getting their full team back. So
yeah, but you
can tell it's chemistry
on
problems.
what you can.
I know, but my point is it's chemistry problems. So they are capitalizing.
Yeah, no.
They were missing their all-star guard, and they're still 16-11. So now that they're bringing back someone that's been injured all year, it's not like they had a couple games at the beginning of the season and it's like a mid-season injury where you already have some chemistry. It's the last time you played as a team was last year, and it was with different players. You picked up different players in the off season, so this is really your chance to start actually learning who you are as a full team.
Yeah, but at the same time, they've been together for the past 3 seasons. This isn't Chris Paul's first year on the team, even though he's coming back from an injury. And some of these players, they is returning players, so they know each other. They have that team chemistry from the off season, and then training camp and the past 2 seasons together. So they already said where they need to fall in at as far as their roles when they is out there on the court.
Their lineup's different. You had Jay Crowder as one of your fallback starters. He wasn't
he's gone
producing
now,
on offense.
Yeah, they traded him, right? I would have kept him.
No, they haven't traded him. They're looking to. But it's just you don't have him available. They were trying to make spot for Cameron Johnson, who's injured still. So it's just
and also,
your 4 spot. You don't even have a 4 spot. One player, you have chemistry problems so bad you can't even play him. And then the other one's been injured all year. So you don't even have a 4 position on the team. Yeah, so it's injuries and chemistry.
New Orleans came in and did what they needed to do. They got those 2 wins. They're going to play again on the 17th.
So this is like
If they
worst
get that
case
narrow-
scenario for the Suns, and they're still
Mhm.
16-11. You know,
Yeah.
so
Also,
I'm
Devin
not worried
Booker
about
didn't play
that.
that second game either.
And Devin Booker is having a crisis of his own where he's just like selling and fucking choking against every good team and good player, you know? So
Chris Paul is too. He saw 3 for 10, only had 6 points, and he fouled out.
I
That's
don't know.
supposed to be
I
your
feel
leader
like
right there.
the Suns are pretty close to their bottom, and
Yeah.
there's only up to go from here, you know? I think they could be involved in some midseason trades also. I think it'd be interesting if they were able to get like a Kyle Kuzma or worse, or even a little bit worse than that, Cam Reddish or something like that. Another
Yeah, I'm
wing.
pretty sure they're gonna make some trades.
Because like Zion Williamson, they don't have that 4 position, so it's just like Zion Williamson can go down there and do whatever the fuck he wants at the 4, you know?
And that's exactly what he did.
So yeah, I think this is a perfect example of the weakness the Suns have at the 3 and the 4 position this year, and something that they need to address immediately and for sure by trade deadline. So I think that's our time for this article, so let's move on to the next one. We're going to head over to our Twitter account. There wasn't a whole lot of articles written on the Philadelphia 76ers last night, so I think our Twitter's the best place we can get some good visuals to look at. So Joel Embiid last night had a huge game against the Hornets. He had 53 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, and a block, and he was our fantasy MVP of the night. So with that being said, DeMarcus, what do you think?
I think it's great because I had him on my fantasy team, and he put up an amazing number of fantasy points. But yeah, this is just to show you what Embiid can do when he's out there on the court playing, and what the Sixers are missing when he's not playing. And he's really dominant as a player, just inside and out, and on the defensive end. And the fact that he dropped like another 50-point game, his second one this year, 4th in his career, it's pretty amazing. Also to know James Harden also played last night, and he put up some good numbers. Let's see. Yeah, oh man, 16 assists, and that's the James Harden you want when he's out there playmaking. Nearly had a triple-double with 9 rebounds. Shot 50% from the field, so that's the James Harden you like to see when he's making his shots and getting people involved. And then it just make it that much more easier for Joel Embiid to have that dominant performance like he did. And like if they can like stay in the playoff race, that'll be a tough out. But I still don't see them making it far. I'm sorry.
All right.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, based on what you said, they have a lot of depth at guard, and James Harden actually is still playing well, you know? Like, there were some questions over the offseason with some of the workouts he was having, but he showed up to play, so even being injured and everything, he had a lot of excuses that he could have used, and he's not going to. He's going to show up and play, so that's good to see.
Mm-hmm.
They also have Tyrese Maxey. They have D'Anthony Melton, excuse me. They got... Who's the other one I didn't say? Oh, Shake Milton. So you have a lot of depth at guard. I think where they're lacking is similar to the Suns, is that 3 and 4 wing position. You know, being able to have someone that can maybe get you a bucket. You have Tobias Harris for that, but you know when he's off the floor, you don't really have anyone to come and help out, and you don't have another position next to him in the wing to be able to help defend or anything. So I think that would be something that the Philadelphia 76ers should focus on, trying to trade some of their depth at the guard position and try to upgrade their wing spot to make a deeper run in the playoffs, like you were talking about.
Yeah, because they will need that, especially in the East. You know, you got KD, Jason Tatum. Also, if they want to put Brown at the 3 and like in some of their rotations. Who else? You got Chris Middleton. Let me go back and see this. Trying to see the rest of the teams in the East that's in the playoffs. But that wing spot is very important, especially in the playoffs when you got guys who can light it up on the wing. So, I agree with you. They do need to upgrade that spot before playoffs just to get Harden and Embiid some help.
Yeah, because that's how the Celtics made it to the finals, you know. In the playoffs, you're going to use your best like offensive sets, you know. So in the playoffs, they didn't have anyone that could guard Jason Tatum. You know, there's not a lot of like good wing defenders or anything. So Jason Tatum was able to just carry this Celtics all the way to the finals. So I think that's going to be a big thing for the teams in the East to be chasing after those wing players coming into trade deadline. I think the Cavaliers are another team that are going to be in the market.
Yeah. Tobias, you got to step up his game.
Who?
Tobias Harris.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, like,
I think
he's good, but he
right?
can't do it all himself, yeah. I think they might run him at the 4 also.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. He's a good shooter. He's a good scorer. You know, he's pretty good at post defense. I would say he's not as good at perimeter defense. So like, if you're putting him up against like a Julius Randle, he might be able to defend a little bit better. But if you're putting him up against say like a Jason Tatum, you know he's going to struggle because Tatum can operate more on the perimeter, whereas Tobias is a little bit slower. So he's better in defense on the post, in my opinion.
Yep.
So that is our time for this article, so let's move on to the next one. All right, in the next article, we're going to be taking a look at the Los Angeles Clippers and John Wall more specifically, and he is thankful after receiving a warm welcome in his DC return. So this was his first game that he returned to the Wizards to play against them in a Clippers uniform. So with that being said, DeMarcus, what do you think?
I think it's on great. It was well deserved. I didn't see the game, but I wonder if they did like a video tribute for him because he was great on the Wizards team. Like did amazing things when he was with them before he got that. I think he tore his ACL, and like he just embraced that Washington crowd while he was there, and they embraced him as well, coming in doing the Dougie dancing, him and Bradley Beal being that dynamic duo. And like it's just. Sometimes it sucks to see a player leave a team due to injury and not being able to produce like he has when he came in. And I'm happy that people didn't like boo him or anything because I'm pretty sure he didn't want to leave Washington. It might have been one time when he demanded a trade or they was talking about trading. I'm trying to see his points per game. I hate how they got these categories separated on his website. But I'm going to hand it off to you, Kevin, when I look through this.
All right. I think John Wall is a pretty sad story as he was an amazing player coming out of college. The speed that he brought to the game was unmatchable. So he kind of reminds me of like a Derrick Rose situation. Derrick Rose was one of those players that was just incredibly explosive. And as soon as he got injured, he lost a lot of that explosiveness. So it was just an amazing talent that was just cut too short by injury. So I see John Wall as being a very similar story to that, just with speed instead of the explosiveness. So he's still a really good defender. He's a great playmaker. I still think he has a future in this league. It's just sad that we aren't able to witness one of the fastest basketball players to ever step foot on the court again in the same way he used to be able to play.
And also even like with that, I would say even with Ja Morant, I hope he don't fall into that like, you know, I guess you could say stereotype or into that category where, you know, you come in explosive and athletic, just dunking on everybody, and he can have speed too. And then you just hope he doesn't like do something where he can hurt himself to where he got to miss a season and then he just isn't the same anymore. So I hope either Ja Morant can either develop his mid-range or like 3-point start and have guys around and telling him he don't need to like drive to the hole all the time. Just either try to set up your players or just try to take that jumper. Just because, man, Ja Morant, it's really nice seeing him play, and I just really hope he doesn't fall into that category also. And like you said, John Wall, it was nice to watch him play as well because that boy was a blur out there. Like it was hard to slow him down.
Yeah, that's a really good point about Morant. If he did lose his explosiveness due to like an injury or something, he doesn't really have a shot to fall back on, and a lot of his playmaking does come off of his explosiveness. So I think he would kind of have to relearn how to play the game in a new, like almost a new body type, if that makes sense. I
Yeah,
think that's similar
I
to
see it
what
almost
Derrick
be.
Rose went through. You know, instead
Then
of
he
being able
almost
to
be like
play
Russell
make.
Westbrook too. What
I
you say,
think
Kevin?
Westbrook's the one that really never had to deal with any major injuries. Like he got his
Yeah, he
face
just didn't
broken
develop his
in,
shot.
but like
No, I'm
nothing
talking about
leg related or anything that's gonna
yeah,
like actually affect your explosiveness.
just when you get up there in age. That's what I was speaking on when you said as long as he
He's
don't
still explosive though,
lose his
He can get
explosiveness,
up.
huh?
Westbrook is still explosive though. He's still getting up there,
Yeah,
man.
but
He's dunking and he's fast on that
mm,
fast break.
oh
If you
yeah,
get
he
him on a
is and stuff.
team that he
But he
can run
just
the
like
fast break, he'll
he's
fit
just
in
not doing
perfect.
it the same as he used to though.
But that's because of the offense he's in. You want the ball in
Hmm.
LeBron's hands, so he's primary ball handler. So
Yeah,
LeBron likes to dribble up slow and set up the offense at the top of the key. He'll tell everyone what to do during the play. That's
or
not
even
what
like
Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook's that fast break type of player. So it's just they're working against each other. That's why
yeah, or
you don't want them on the floor too much at the same time, and they're having Westbrook off the bench.
well, I don't even see why they don't just turn Westbrook if he is out there with LeBron, turn him into a slasher. Like if LeBron got the ball, like just like do a hard dive to the basket and let LeBron feed you, and then you could just you know
I think they
on
actually
whoever's
did try
standing in
that.
your way.
But
Huh?
they did try that. Westbrook isn't very
Mm-hmm.
good at finishing in traffic. On the fast break,
Gotta
he
dunk on him.
excels because it's like a one on one, on a
Yeah,
guard. He isn't very good at going in and finishing on players that are like 7 feet tall. He doesn't
true
really
that,
have
true that.
that touch around the rim to like make
Yeah,
a crazy spin
he don't got
layup
that
or spin
finesse like
under.
Kyrie or Steph do.
Yeah, so I don't know. He's just not in a good position in LA. He's still a good
Hey,
player though,
but
in my opinion.
would you agree that like if he was able to develop his shot, like get that feel for the ball, it'll be easy for him to finish at the rim. Just he'll have it because like Westbrook is hard and aggressive. So like even with his jump shot,
I don't know.
sometimes it hit the rim too damn hard. Like
I
if he
mean,
just had that little soft touch, he'll know like I don't need to like.
it would help getting
It's
past
out.
the on-ball defender, but at that point, you still have
Yeah.
help defense rolling over, and you still have to be able to finish on that 7 footer.
No, I'm talking
So
about like just to know how to like lay it in instead of like. Cause I know like when I used to play basketball, if you like full speed running to the rim trying to lay it up, if you don't like, it's hard to explain, but like slow your body down as you like while you in the air, that ball is going to come off like hit off the backboard really hard or even off the rim. But like if you're able to like slow your body down to where you can control the ball like as you land it up to like softly either put it on the backboard or like softly like finger roll it into the basket, it makes it easier for you to make that shot.
except those are
But like
like
if you,
all way different skills to learn. Like he's got to learn shooting, he's got to learn floaters, he's got to learn like the touch, like you're saying around the rim, being able to avoid defenders and use the rim as a blocker against the defender. Those are all
yeah,
different skill sets, and he's already 33 years old. So it's kind of
yeah,
like
that's what I was saying.
if you
If
want to
he would have just
compete
landed
at
that
an NBA
jumper early
level,
on or whatever,
but like
right?
to compete at an NBA level at each one of those individual skills, you got to spend years getting to that point. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's kind of like you got to pick which one you want to do at this point. So I don't know. I think he's just better off being traded at this point. Go find a better situation. It'd be a win-win for both teams because he
Right.
doesn't
Hey,
fit well on the
they
Lakers
was,
either. So if they get someone else
mhm.
that fits better, it would be, I don't know. I think better for both sides if he ends up in the right situation.
Yeah.
All right,
I hope
that
he
is our
finishes his
time for
career off
this one,
strong.
though. Do you have any last comments, or do you want to move on?
No, we can move on. I just say I hope he finished his career off strong instead of
I don't know.
averaging
I could
eight
see it
points a game
happening.
before he leave.
He's Hall of Fame
But,
point guard. I don't know.
of course.
He's still in his prime if he gets traded this year. So
Like,
I'm sure it will.
yeah.
And his contract's up after this year. So either way. All right, on to the next one. All right, so if we move over here, we're going to be taking a look at the LeBron James scoring tracker. And this is keeping track of LeBron James' chase for Kareem Abdul Jabar's all-time NBA scoring record. And if you can see this graphic, he has 828 points to go until he passes Kareem Abdul Jabbar on the all-time NBA points scoring list as the number 1 position. So this is a huge deal for historical NBA events. And with that being said, DeMarcus, what do you think?
I think it's pretty nice to see, like in our lifetime, just because like some records you will look at it and be like, oh, I'm probably not going to see that be broken in my lifetime, or I might be 70 years old by the time somebody be able to break that. And the fact that we got somebody like even like LeBron James, like when he came into the league, like I was still in like maybe 7th, 8th grade. So the fact that he's about to break like this all-time points record, and like I'm already an adult now and I'm able to witness this. And also I was being able to see his career just from the time he was a rookie to like right now, all the finals he been to, all the teams he been on and like carried. And like just his amazing passing and scoring and the things he can do is just amazing. Then like I think he's 36. So I really hope he can break it like this season. All he needs is to average like 17 points. At least 17 points to finish out the season, just so he can break it. So it'd be really nice to see him do it, and I hope I get to see that game.
So pretty much what you were saying, it's always amazing to witness history being made on this scale. LeBron, not only is he about to pass Kareem Abdul Jabbar as the all-time NBA leading scorer, but he also just passed Magic Johnson for 6th all-time in NBA assists throughout their career. So he's showing that not only can he score, but he can set up his teammates. And he is obviously one of the best players to ever step foot on a basketball court, whether that be Kobe, Michael Jordan, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul Jabbar. He belongs in the conversation as one of the greatest players of all time. So it's cool to see LeBron just continuing to set records. And I don't believe this is going to be his last year, so I think that this conversation doesn't have to end anytime soon. He should continue to keep setting records going forward. So it will be exciting to see what he can do over the next couple years.
I think he got another two, maybe 3 years left. Okay, that also makes me think of like Tom Brady. Like I think a few weeks back, he eclipsed that 100,000 passing yards in a career. Yeah, in his career. And I just be thinking like, man, I highly doubt any of the current quarterbacks, maybe Mahomes might be able to break it. I don't know. Will be able to like eclipse that mark, 100,000 passing yards. Also, I don't think we'll see anybody get 7 Super Bowl rings. Well, a quarterback gets 7 Super Bowl rings also. So that might be in another like 2 to 3 lifetimes before that record get broken. That's why like these lifetime I call it lifetime records. It's always nice to see and like to be able to witness. So that way when my kids do get older and if they have grandkids, I could tell them about it, or like a guy like LeBron James, even though Kobe's my favorite player, but like still just to be able to witness his game when he do get to that game where he will break it. That's a game you gotta watch.
Yeah, he's just something else. Whole different level.
Yeah. Phenomenal. So shout out to LeBron. Now get them fucking Lakers in the playoffs. Excuse my language.
That's what matters. You got to win some games now. You made some history, now go win some games.
Right. Yeah, get them in the playoffs, man. We know you can do it.
You still need a couple more championships.
Hey, go ahead and rub it. Go to the locker room, get that Bengay on.
Yeah, I mean,
old out there, man.
I think he's like 37 right now, maybe 38. So I think Dikembe Mutombo played till he was like 42. Vince Carter played till he was like 43 or something crazy. So LeBron is in the shape.
Too.
Yeah, I think LeBron's in the shape. He could play till he's 50 if he really wanted to, like actually making some kind of roster spot. But I don't think he's going to want to play that long, but I think he has time to definitely set some more records and potentially get some more championships if he ends up in the right situation. So with that being said, I think that's our time for this article. Is there anything you want to wrap up with?
Yeah, even if LeBron is 50, nobody's going to say no to LeBron when he coming in for a roster spot. He's going to automatically have it,
He could be like Udonis Haslem, just
right?
not play for 5
Yeah.
years and just sit on the bench.
hmm But he go play.
Udonis Haslem actually got into an NBA game like 2 weeks ago, which was pretty cool to see.
Yeah,
When the Heat had
yeah,
like
it's
every
cool.
player on their team injured.
But that's the heart and soul of the team.
Yeah. All right. Are we ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it. All right. So in
Water.
this article, we're going to be taking a look at NBA champion and longtime coach Paul Silas dies at 79 years old. So Paul Silas, the father of Houston Rockets coach currently, Stephen Silas, dies at 79. His family announced on Sunday. So we just wanted to quickly say rest in peace to an all-time great in the NBA. So I don't really have too much to say about this. I don't know his game too well, as he was quite a bit before my time with basketball, so I don't really have a chance to speak on his career much, but I do know his impact on the game, so just wanted to say shout out to him for everything he's done for the game of basketball, and rest in peace. Is there anything you wanted to add?
You can't say shout out to him when he's not living anymore. You shout out people that's alive so they can know you shouted them out. I don't know. I don't know
Well, I
who you really
mean,
shout out.
no one knows what
But
happens
yeah,
when you die.
you're like
There's a theory
rest in,
about an electromagnetic consciousness.
nah,
So
I just say rest in peace. I didn't know much about him either. I just know he's a legend in the basketball world. And like of course he's before my time as well. And like he will be missed by his family. It's always sad when a loved one somebody close to the game passes away or just anybody in general. But no, like on a serious note, yeah, we just rest in peace, man, and just our blessings go out to his family and just hope they mourn and had a private time and just hope they can like start their healing process.
So I think that does it for our NBA news for the day. So I hope you guys enjoyed this content. I hope you guys enjoy some good basketball games tonight, and we will catch you guys in the next episode of the Game of Inches basketball news.
Bum, 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 bum.